So you want to lower your car? So you want to get low? Throughout history, people have sought that elusive, low, sleek look. The Belltech systems allow you to get down easily and safely. Belltech looks right and rides right.
I started at Belltech in early 1987.
I started with Belltech in 1989.
First time in 1998.
Started in 1998.
2007.
91.
That was 1998.
Been here just over 5 years.
For about 3.5 years.
As a kid in high school, I was actually introduced to the company.
When I started with the company, I drove a 92 Silverado, and it had a 5.7 Belltech drop kit on it.
The longer I've been here, the more I've really become attached to the brand as I see the history of the brand.
Well, who started the company was Jim Ewing and Dave Enmark. You know, they were partners already in a company called Super Bell Axle Company. And then it became Jim Farther and Dave Enmark. Small little Kwanzaa hut, like airport hangar looking thing.
Little homemade sign down there, Super Bell Axle, walked in and went, whoa. I mean, we had no catalogs. We had like 12 or 13 part numbers, something like that.
And Ewing had wind of the new truck coming out. He like jumped right on it.
The 88 full-size Chevy pickup. It's a whole new animal.
That's the day Chevy truck.
Pontiac was going to pace the Indy 500 one year, and they were going to do it with the Fiero because, you know, they try to showcase a newer vehicle. And they needed to lower this thing, and so Ewing told them, hey, give me the prints for one of those things, and I'll cast the uprights and the spindles to lower that thing if that kind of helps us get one of these pre-production trucks.
And they were willing to work with him, and he just said, yeah. He goes, if I can get one of the first ones, I'll create some.
And in the corner of the Quonset hut was like a car cover over some kind of truck. This is going to be a really big deal. And I looked at that thing and I went, wow, this is really cool. This is very different. We're already working with General Motors on an engineering level. We're going to have a full line of products ready to go. And that truck initially was like lowered 4 and 6 with our flip kit. Let's drop it down. What can we do to kind of clean up that bumper?
The roll pans, because we were producing the roll pans, the bumper covers, and that's where the growth started. So Super Bell Axle, it became Bell Super, and then they threw tech behind it because it was a whole different level.
And to me, they looked like street rods. It looked like Boyd had got a hold of them.
I can honestly say that nobody drops them like Belltech.
And then you get that traditional 6-inch flip kit with the frame notch in the back, and
the billet grill and the roll pan and the bumper mask, killer wheels on the thing, and give you that California look, that sport truck look.
I would get my marching orders from Jim Morris. He's like, hey, I need you to drive over to Boyd's, go see Chip Foose. Chip Foose has a drawing of the new bumper cover we want to build. Some amazing designers available to Belltech. Guys like Tom Taylor, Steve Stanford. I dug up some of the early Belltech posters. This is the first one I got my hands on. And then to go along with this poster, I found one of Tom Taylor's sketches of the paint scheme for that truck as well.
Hi, I'm Tom Taylor, and I've been doing design work and graphics. And
Tom had come up with this crazy idea at the time. It's when computer plotters had just kind of began.
Pete Santini would do the paint work. Tom, of course, would come up with the renderings.
We were doing these shred things. We were doing these exploding things. We were doing the teals, the turquoise, the banana yellows, the pumpkin colors.
The turquoise truck, of course, became the splash truck that we did the poster off of. The yellow truck became the bubbles truck.
this truck was originally designed by Tom Taylor, an outstanding artist, and you know he really spearheaded the sport truck movement. He did a lot of graphics with Pete Santini, and those guys are the kings. Like, we were a marketing machine back then. The posters, the girls in the bikinis, and pink Belltech poster truck. It was just part of that era.
Our marriage with shock absorbers and doing our own development work on the valving and
the nitro drop shocks, you know, it was fairly revolutionary. Nobody was really doing that back then.
So another truck that is really the beginning of the sport truck craze from Belltech would be their 88 GMC Corvette truck.
We shipped that truck to the Arizona Proving Grounds and we put a Corvette Challenge 2-port motor in it. I mean, every cover was a Belltech truck.
SEMA then, because everybody started making things for these trucks.
You could walk in and get that Belltech look with the Boyds, the lower end kit.
And there's 24 brand new Chevy trucks with our stuff on it.
They were fully already customized, lowered wheels, graphics, and paint jobs.
We're turning on to Monroe Avenue. This is where the first hot rod shop in Stanton was at. And it just all happened right here at this shop. The first CKs were lowered here. You know, the billet wheels, I mean, it just all happened right here at this shop.
The 1989 GMC pickup that my dad chopped back in the day. And he wanted something to pull around a street rod, so the cab looked too tall when they were lowered. So he told my dad, if you chop one, I'll buy one. People call it the Belltech truck. And one thing that you notice when you see that ad is just the paint, the custom paint job on this thing. The colors on this thing, it just kind of, it does scream late 80s for sure. And it's amazing because even today on this thing, it's still just as nice as the day they painted it.
We did the Eddie truck, both as the Eddie truck down at Boyd's with the Corvette stuff on it, and then later as a giveaway through Sport Truck Magazine.
Michael Anthony's extra cab walkthrough with the show was at Santini's and it was being painted. So that kind of got us a ticket to VIP and backstage of any of the Van Halen shows we wanted to go to.
And so yeah, we developed our whole line of low jack products to bolt on using the best bags and you know our onboard compressors.
And one of my favorites, of course, the orange truck, which I helped create. And then the two-wheel drive Blazer, which was definitely one of my favorites. This one was modified from a four-wheel drive and turned into a two-wheel drive.
There were people like Tim Sasamian, there were people like Gary Case at Styling Concepts with different platforms and kind of take our same basic recipe and apply that.
95 bought Suspension Techniques.
We did projects with AJ Foyt and Ford Motor Company.
We talk about Chevy trucks nonstop, but one of our #1 bestsellers is our Ford lowering kits.
The lowering of those trucks, you know, the mini trucks, the S10.
The new body style truck came out and people knew the name and they knew they could buy our product with confidence. A lot of people were like, okay, what's the next thing that's gonna come out? The new body style truck came out and people knew the name, it would work. The thing would give them a ride quality and the usability that they had come to expect from our product line.
I mean, that changeover was interesting in the design of the spindles and how they went together. And
where a lot of people liked that new 99 body style, there was a lot of pushback. Look where we are now, you know, they grew on us.
One of them was Jason Breen's truck out of Salt Lake City, Utah.
It still just had that look.
In terms of the product offerings at the time, I think we only had the Nitro Drop 2 shocks.
Klaus Woolfarth flew over to Fresno, met with us, sat down, we had meetings. I not only will build shocks for you, but I will give you the North American distributorship of KW Automotive. So Jim Farrow, they were kind of like pondered, and Rich Hedrick was kind of like, well, you know, we should really concentrate about Belltech. Long story short, they took forever to make a decision.
They have a lot of involvement in the racing community, manufacturing high-end coilovers for mostly European cars.
While Klaus was in the air flying over here, we're like, what are we gonna do? And maybe Jim at this time in his life will just say, hey, you know what? I'm out.
KW was really, really smart when he bought the company, and he had the best intentions to do what he did with it.
He chose to come live here to start the business. He packed up his family, moved down here with us.
KW got into the distribution channels that we all knew.
You know, with KW being able to inject some of that shock technology into the Nitro Drop 2 shocks and the Street Performance shocks.
The 2009 recession started earlier in the aftermarket world.
It was difficult. We bit the bullet and kind of did that whole grind to get through it. You know, it's like a revolving door. You have your sport trucks, you got your bag trucks, you got your lifted trucks, and it just kind of goes in this little circle. 2013, we did the 5 trucks, and it started off as just the idea of doing 1 or 2 trucks for SEMA that year. I think the 2014 had just came out. We picked it up for the company for development, why don't we do the 30-year anniversary push? And
each truck belonged to somebody that was within the company. Set up as you walked into SEMA, they were placed in front. It was really neat.
Building 5 trucks for the SEMA show this year, celebrating our 30th year anniversary. Building a 1973 Chevy C10, painted Victory Red. We're doing a Belltech 5.7 drop. Those shots at the Red Rock cruising through Vegas were amazing. We got kicked out of Red Rock for that.
Late 2014, we being in the performance field, we need something performance oriented for trucks.
The Variant 3 damper was ride quality on the racetrack, and with ride quality comes better handling characteristics, grip. So when they brought that to the street, it just made sense.
Having the right shock, spring package, you know, all that stuff, it all factors into the finished ride quality of the truck.
When you provide that type of control, you don't have to force high spring rates on the trucks. That concept was new to the truck world.
So when we did the performance stuff, we did a couple things with the truck and throwdown.
We had the Silverado out there, and then we had another F-150.
It was awesome to see their faces when they were like, what else have you done to the truck? Nothing but suspension. Whatever coilover kit we do, it's comfortable enough to drive during the day, but you can turn a couple clicks and you can take it for a weekend and have a good time.
Well, originally we were doing nothing but lowering spindles, but now we're doing lifting stuff, and everything that applies to it is fun. We get at least 30 or so spindles per day if you stay on it 100%.
I think pride's a common thing you find in manufacturing or packaging, right?
Just getting bigger and stronger. Really cool sway bar kits and stuff like that that would increase the stability of the trucks, and coilover kits, and that really took off.
So me and my team are directly responsible for motorsports and custom suspension applications that we do here, such as Cameron Bishop's C10, which actually features KW V4 technology that we thought would be a great opportunity to include in our Belltech line of stuff.
It's a 1972 C10, big window cab, but the body of the truck is all steel. I made that here in-house. It was kind of my first time really taking on like building a bedside from scratch. I've always enjoyed race cars, so I was looking for somebody that could build me a coilover that utilizes like a C6 lower than just a traditional eyelet upper. And it was kind of a natural phone call to make to Belltech and everyone over at KW and kind of their whole competition department. And
when Cameron first reached out to me, you know, we were kind of talking and he was going over his build, and we actually were able to pull some of the racing technology from KW and utilize that on his truck. We had to really kind of start from scratch.
We have triple adjustables, so we have high speed, low speed compression, rebound. We sprung it for the weight, and you know, we built it to race the truck. I would compare it mostly to like a Porsche, like a GT3 or GT2.
I'm moving forward as far as technology and trying to offer the latest and greatest. New challenges for sure.
You know, it does everything you would hope it would do, and then when you drop a gear and put it to the floor, it boogies.
Lifted, lowered, I don't think that matters. That's not gonna go away. Those cycles are still gonna happen.
Lowering kits and lift kits, there's a reason we do things the way that we do.
We don't rush our R&D projects at all. We knew that we could bring something new to the market, and that's really why we wanted to do it.
I'm proud that they did the lift kit thing, you know, they needed it.
where could we apply the Belltech fundamentals, the KW fundamentals? There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to have a 7-inch lift and it not ride just as good as the day you pulled it off the lot.
For me, being an outdoorsy type of person, obviously that's very appealing and interesting, and being able to do that for work has always been awesome. You know, rock crawling and...
The R&D team, you know, they're one of the most dedicated groups that I've met.
To not go back and try and make something better for our customers, it's just not something that we would do.
Analyzing is happening in CAD, and all the math is happening on the computer.
The computerization of a lot of the designs, they're able to go back and say, we could do this better. Design these new kits where it hadn't really been thought about before, or we couldn't do it before.
You know, there was compromises like wheel sizes and tire technologies.
So most of them were just lowered roll pans, wheels, tires, tinted windows. And I was just looking through sport trucks, and I thought, man, we should redo that 90 SEMA truck. That Belltech truck just sticks in your mind just because it was such a wild truck. It was a little bit nerve-wracking because we wanted to stay true to the original truck and make sure that it looked correct. Judging from the response of SEMA, we did it.
The C10 guys are, you know, they price themselves so high, and now it's all going to that OBS market, and you know where that's going.
And let's look at these OBSs. Now everybody's looking at the OBSs going, I want one.
You know, even to this day, people are fighting to find cool parts, you know, nostalgic parts kicking around.
Those older trucks are becoming more and more relevant.
With our such rich history, we have the opportunity to push that.
Belltech was part of the origin of that whole scene and where all that came from.
Belltech kind of demonstrates that passion, and it's because of the people behind it.
The employees that are already here, we like to build them up. When you get to lean on each other and you got your family here, it's easy and it's fun.
It's really easy to come up with different solutions or try different ideas when we all have that type of relationship.
We had a lot of talented, passionate people that knew the brand, have been around for decades in some cases.
Trying to get a job in the industry was a little different. You would apply, and unless you as a woman, you knew somebody, you really didn't get in somewhere. So I actually lucked out here.
Being a female in the male-dominant industry does have its challenges.
Every single person that I met, every man that I worked with here, willing to educate me and
learn and teach. Last year, I was able to work on the all-female Bronco, which is very exciting.
SEMA events are always a standout moment.
I think we all got together, we all took a group photo, and I think we finally realized, like, yeah, this was one of the best SEMAs that we've had.
One of the great things is that we adapt.
Every time a new generation of something comes out.
More off-roading stuff, more overlanding, tackling the electric vehicles.
Between the Lightning and the Rivian, KW is always moving forward as far as technology and trying to offer the latest and greatest.
As long as they keep the marketing going, they see the name, people read it, it's gonna stay there and it's gonna continue to roll and move forward.
With the resurgence of that whole retro feel, why not go back to what made Belltech Belltech? Going back to our roots and, you know, which is basically like our customers, and that's what made us originally.
Or like my dad had that truck when I was 10, and I want to rebuild that truck.
And it's cool because you get to see how much Belltech has impacted people's lives. This year we're doing a search for the next Belltech icon. The stories that we have received so far have been incredible. You know, carrying on that legacy piece of our new history.
So this hard body just kind of started as, I'm just going to slam it. I love the fact that Belltech's a local company and they've been around for a long time, and I like my community. So I did lowering leaves, I did angled blocks in the back, and with a little tweaking from my buddies at Caliber Custom, it rides cherry. To have my son there, to have one of my best friends with me, and to finish something.
Can't wait to see who the Belltech winner will be.
I wanted an original truck, a true survivor sport truck. The truck has a 4.6 Belltech drop that was installed in '91, 20-inch tri-fans, the ultimate wheel of the 90s. How often do you have the opportunity to represent a company that you grew up with and admiring at SEMA?